Hey everyone, welcome back to CyberSecurityTV. Previous few episodes we have talked about how to bypass the WAF using several payloads and several techniques, vulnerabilities, right? But let's suppose you are doing a bug bounty hunting, or you are doing the penetration test, and then you are coming across the application which you don't know if there is a WAF or not, and you cannot use the payloads just blindly because there are so many out there. So first off, your first step should be how you gonna detect if the WAF is even there, and if you figure that out, next thing you want to see is like what kind of WAF that is, because different WAF have a different kind of bypass techniques. If you look it up on the Twitter, several bug bounty hunter and the hackers that they have posted, they actually post the payload which would work to bypass the WAF, but depending on what WAF that they are dealing with, right? So that's why WAF detection becomes very critical. So I'm gonna break this down into two episodes. The first episode today we're gonna talk about what are the various ways you can fingerprint and determine if the WAF is there and detect. And the next episode we're gonna use some of the tools to detect a simple ways to find out if the application is protected behind the WAF. So with that being said, how you can detect if the WAF is there. So throughout, like when you're doing the application testing, right, there are several ways the application itself will give you the hints that whether there is a WAF is in there or not. So that's the thing. We're gonna look through 4 or 5 techniques today and see if you can you might be able to use one of those to actually detect if the WAF is there. Now usually one thing I would like to mention before we go down that path is WAF usually runs in the passive mode. So what that means is it's, let's say when you set up a new WAF, it's firstly going to try to reduce the number of false positive or unblock any request. So that's why it's a passive mode. So it's not going to block a lot of requests. But once it is in the production, then probably it's going to work as a reactive mode, or sometimes it works both. So depending on which rules are configured on the remote application, the WAF could be either passive or reactive mode. Now let's start with our technique number 1, which is very basic, right? Which is by identifying based on the cookie values. Now cookies are very simple. You must have seen, like in most of the applications, they have their cookies, and based on the cookie names, sometimes you can able to figure out if the WAF is there. Usually as a pen tester, we mostly rely on tend to focus on the session tokens and session cookies, but sometimes it is worth spending time and looking at the different names of the cookie that the application is showing us. So for example here, let's say if they are using Citrix NetScaler as an example, so you could see cookie names as a either ns_af or Citrix_ns_id, or the third one is NSC. Here you can see in the example that we are actually seeing the Citrix_ns_id. So if you see this kind of cookie name along with the session token, that means the WAF is Citrix NetScaler that they're using. The second example I have is the FI Big IP ASM. So this is application security manager, kind of a WAF, and usually how it works is the cookie value starts with the TS, and then there's a regex, which is shown here, which is generally used. And now for an example, you can see here this particular response, it has a TS01FB8451 and some random string. So this one represent that the WAF is there. Another example we're going to talk about is Barracuda. So here you can see there are a couple of names, cookie names you can remember if you come across. So Barra counter session or BNI Barracuda LB cookie. So if you come across any of these names, then you can easily say this is the actual Barracuda WAF that the application is running. Let's talk about the technique 2. So this is the rewrite header. Now what the header rewrite simply is, so depending on the request, so usually the request will first go from application to the WAF and the WAF to the backend. So usually during that time what will happen is the WAF will either rewrite the response or sorry, rewrite the header before it sends to the application, or it also rewrites some of the response which is going to send it back to the client. One thing I wanted to show you guys is this. So AWS in 2021, AWS WAF added support for request header insertion. So here, as an application owner or a manager, I can insert my own custom header, and of course the main reason behind this was to, like, use for analytics and maybe behave, like, treat requests differently if it's coming through the WAF and stuff like that. So but yeah, WAF does provide this kind of support, this kind of functionality. So sometimes you will see in this case, original response is 200 OK and server is Apache Unix, right? If the request is coming through the WAF, then you would see that server header either is changed. So here the server name is Netscape Enterprise 8.1. Sometimes they actually totally remove the header value, so you will not see any value, and that, like, triggers that, yeah, there is a WAF in place, because it's if you like sends malicious payload, then you will see like server response with the Netscape Enterprise and not the actual web server. But if your request is valid and there is no malicious payload in that, then probably you will see response as Apache Unix. So you'll see different response based on the payload that the request that you're making. The next technique is based on the response code. Now this one is like, very straightforward. So mode security usually sends out the response as 406, not acceptable. The another web night firewall, it says 999, no hacking, right? Which is very straightforward to understand. Like you wouldn't see this response code very often in the application. So sometimes the WAF, like as we saw in the example of the header rewrite, WAF also changes the response code for the malicious request. So here we can see 406 and 999, which is not the usual response that you will see from the application. The next technique is pretty straightforward. If you just analyze all the response that you have been getting while doing the info gathering or passive spidering throughout the application, sometimes with your payloads you will get the error message or I guess response, which will tell you the name of the firewall itself. So in this example we can see we are getting the mode security as a name itself, right? So we don't need to do any extra effort. Maybe sometimes you just send the payload and in the response you will see, oh, it's being used, it's using the mode security firewall. Another example, probably you will see in a better, like, on the Firefox or UI itself, that it's using some protected by the firewall and it has blocked the request because your request seem to be malicious. So these are some simpler way to find out if the WAF is present on the remote server. Like, next episode, as I talked about, we'll use some of the tools to detect this. Of course, sometimes it's easy to detect manually because you are going through the lot of burp history and request and response and see through yourself. And especially when you're doing the bug hunting, you have to go through each and every file, right? Because sometimes you never know where you encounter some. One of the example that I recently found was one of the JavaScript file had a noted as a, in the comment section, it was an endpoint, which endpoint was not directly accessible by the application UI. So sometimes you find these hidden endpoints, and that endpoint can lead you to the bigger vulnerabilities. So yeah, when you're going through the application history and spidering history, you can find some of the responses and determine if the WAF is there. So next episode we'll look into some tools, but until then, if you have any questions, feel free to comment down below. Don't hesitate to subscribe to my channel and hit the thumbs up button, and also I'll see you next week. Thank you. Bye.